Hello, my friends. It's been a while. Why do I hear myself double? Give me a sec. That works. That works. For some reason, the mute thingy didn't work. Actually, I can still hear myself. Oh, that's killing me. Give me a sec. Can you guys actually hear myself double? Okay, cool. I'll just do it without headphones then. That works. It's a little bit of an odd one. I don't know why this replays back to me, but it's okay. So, yeah, it's been a while. It has been a while. I've been busy. I've been a bit lazy too. Didn't really feel like it. People have been annoying in general. Like, no, you guys have been great, but I don't know. I've just been a little bit tired of the whole social media thing. So I've just been shitposting on Twitter a little bit, but been keeping out in general. So yeah, title of the video is the top in, and is the top in. In my opinion, there's a chance. Honestly, I mean, it's just. I mean, when you look at this, right? When you look at this chart, let's actually make this a clean one. Like, if there's one resistance area that you have, right? It's this one. Like, that's the biggest resistance that we have. And given we've been in a long drawn out bear market, it makes sense to kind of respect that at least for a little bit. Now, that doesn't have to mean much. Oops, that's not what I want to do. We can just blast through it, but I generally think, I mean, even if you just look at it from this perspective, we have a range up here, right? This was the range that we broke down from, and now we have like this lower range where we're trying to break up from, but to me it makes more sense to kind of do this instead. I still think, like, in general, this is probably the low, but there's a good chance it's going to take quite a while. So that's kind of my going rate, but we'll go over it in a sec, run through the time frames, everything, and then go from there. So yeah, high time frame, still looking okay, right? I mean, this monthly, it's a little bit of a topping one, but it's not really at a level of resistance yet, right? So the monthly is still okay. Not too worried there. Not too worried there. There's still some room to go towards 35K, but there's also room to retest previous supports in general. As long as we don't lose this green box, I still think everything's good on the monthly front, which just means I think there's, like, you can go down 30% and still be bullish, and that makes holding pretty difficult for me, because I don't want to sit through a 30% drawdown. But in general, like, there was a little bit of room to go. To resistance was 12%. The reason why I took profit, obviously, is because those 12%, I mean, that's not that much, right? We took a 2x from the bottom to here. Don't really care about the last 10%, especially given the signs of weakness and the altcoin mania everywhere. So I was just kind of like, okay, it's enough. I've milked this as much as I need to. But yeah, we'll talk about that on the weekly and the daily. But yeah, the weekly time frame, this I think is the most useful one right now. And I think this chart sums it up pretty perfectly. This is the old range. This is the current range. And if we go from the current range back into the old range, things start looking really good, right? So basically, this area that I've marked out as indecision is the biggest resistance area that we have, because it's the last point of defense for the bears, right? They've been getting run over ever since we bottomed. The market went up quite a bit, but this is where they have to hold. If they don't hold this, we're back in the old range, and we have this whole thing here as a deviation, which would not be a good look for bears, right? So it makes sense, given how close to invalidation this is for everyone that can sell to sell. Given you can just rebuy at 35K and take it to 60. I think in general, like if we come back here, that's kind of the trade, right? Like you get to 35K, you place a stop loss somewhere in this consolidation, and aim for the high of the previous range, which is 60K. But given we're not there yet, right now, was pretty easy for anyone, at least with spot. Like you're just like, basically can take a trade where my risk, right? And I didn't take a trade, I just closed my trades. But basically your risk, it was something like this, where it's like 10-15%, right? For this to go through resistance, and your reward is, like, in my opinion, all the way down here. That's a good risk to reward setup. I take that. Back in the day, I would have shorted. Nowadays, I'm just more than happy to take profit, right? So just basically, we've had, like, on the weekly, we're in an area where it gets dicey. I originally thought we would be pumping through this, right? But the moment you see the altcoin season posts in an area like this, right? You see Pepe or whatever, like the meme coins coming back, and you have to be careful. Like that's just how it is. Like the biggest resistance, the only resistance that really matters, right? And in this area, people called for alt season. And you can see, like at that point, it's pretty obvious that the market's overheated. Like people are looking so far out of the risk curve. Like they're basically, and I think this is basically how it went with most people. They missed out on this move because they were doubting, right? On this 2x on Bitcoin. And in general, even the people that thought, okay, we might go up on Bitcoin, they bought altcoins instead, right? So they were sitting in the altcoins, they're up like 50%. Everyone that was holding Bitcoin was up 2x. And then other people that didn't buy anything because they was doubting it, were just sitting on the sidelines watching all of this. And then we pumped to 30K, and people suddenly think, hey, I can make back, like these people that long Bitcoin, they got a 2x. But if I just find the right altcoin, I can just make a 10x on the altcoin, so I can make back what I missed out on. And that's just behavior that you usually get at tops, right? That's stuff where people just go way too far. And all of that, I was like, okay, I'm not gonna hold. Like, it's just not for me. Could go higher, like in general. It can always go higher in those circumstances. But the thing that you have to think about, right, is that has there really been that much retail participation, right? And with retail, I just mean like people that haven't been in crypto before. And the answer, I think, is no. Like, we didn't really reach anyone this year that wasn't in crypto before. So all we got on this rally so far was just a bunch of people that were sidelined, got back into the market, right? Calling for an alt season in those circumstances is just very odd to me, because I mean, you're trading against all the people that are already deployed. Why would you get an alt season? Where's that money coming from, right? Are people going to sell off Bitcoin? Because there's not really that much new inflows into crypto, let's be real. So where's that like inflow coming in? I just didn't see it. That's why I was like, this is not for me. and sold, because the whole narrative didn't make any sense. But if you guys have any idea like what these people were thinking that were posting alt season all over the place, let me know. I would like to see some good arguments, but I haven't seen any really. Like there was not really a good argument for where the money is gonna come from for the alt season. If anything, it was just like, fuck yeah, altcoin's been going down so much, they have to go up now. And that's just like, what kind of attitude is that into the biggest Bitcoin resistance on the chart? So that's kind of my reason for selling. I was looking at the weekly. I was like, this is that massive resistance. Altcoins were going up like 10-15%, and people were calling alt season. That seems like a decent spot to take profit, and that's what I did. Now, to make this less biased, right? Because I sold, so my bias is gonna be this is gonna go down, right? But to kind of take all of that out of the equation, my neutral view of the market, right? Like my actual view is we're gonna go down. My neutral view is you close this current weekly candle, this massive red dildo, above this red box at 29.8K, and it starts to look like much better. Right now it looks like a top, right? This is how you get like bleed out, and then like consolidation. Like this is just the perfect pattern for this to take like a couple of weeks of downside, right? But if you close this above 29.8, I think that could still, like we still have a chance to go up. I would still be bearish, but I think we could have a chance to go up once we actually close above 32K, right? So there's like 3 closes that we could have. One, just like we have right now, that's hilariously bearish. I think that would mean further downside. Then, like I said, 28 or like, let's say 30K, close above 30K. I think that's neutral. Like anything in here is neutral, and anything above here, that's bullish, right? So that's the non-biased view. But like I said, my view is we've run this course, and there's further downside ahead. Any questions to that? That's my weekly view. On the daily time frame, we're actually right at support, so I'm bear targeting support. This has to hold, right? So we had this breakout, right? This moved up, and everything would look still good in this, right? I was still bullish. Everything looked good. We had this breakout and started consolidating, going sideways. And like I said, this is exactly like this sideways was basically what led people to overextend everywhere. You saw like people were shorting this rally all the way up, right? You saw this in funding, you saw this everywhere, like people were like disbelieving. And then at that 30K highs, people actually started longing altcoins. And I think this is basically like when you look at funding and when you look at the positions in the market, you have a bunch of people exposed to altcoins more so than you have people exposed to Bitcoin. So Bitcoin going down would wipe that, and you can even have negative funding on Bitcoin as long as people still ape altcoins. There's still more money to be made on the downside. But anyway, we're at daily support, right? So that's the one saving grace right now. Doesn't look good. I absolutely hate, and this is something we've talked about on this show for quite a while. You go sideways, you break out, and you retest immediately. I hate those because more often than not, you either completely break down and then you go to shit, or you get a bounce, a lower high, and then you go to shit. The good breakouts are the ones that never look back, right? So you have a sideways movement, you have a breakout, you front run the support, and those are usually the ones that have big follow through. So that's not what we're having here. We're having a bunch of weakness into daily support basically, and an immediate daily retest. So yeah, but it is still support. That said, if we close below here, all this is up here is a deviation, right? And for the people that have kind of like followed me for a while and followed my reasoning why, like I was like down here, if you remember, down here, I was like, this is a low time frame deviation, and it's going to turn into a higher time frame deviation for this range here, right? You guys remember that? And then I was like, the best case, and this was all at 16 or like even below 16K, the best case, and then I drew this range in, basically all of this, and I was like, you can have this tiny deviation that snowballs into this deviation, that snowballs into this one, that snowballs into all of this, right? That was kind of my bull case. That's why I was like, okay, 60K, we can make it. Everything was lining up. Now we have a little bit of a different picture. So we didn't quite make it as far as I wanted to. But basically the picture right now is that we're doing the exact same thing that we were doing down here, just up here. So basically this is the range. That was the range, this is the deviation. And now this is the range up here, and this is the deviation. So, or it's at least possible, right? We haven't closed below, but I'm seeing that, like I saw this line up too when I was selling. I was like, if this comes back, because I saw all the excitement, all of that, while the market wasn't really strong. And yeah, if it comes back and actually closes back below 28K, we have a deviation on our hands again. And when you have a deviation, especially in kind of like in a market, and let's actually go to clean chart so I can show it better. In a market that's been ranging, right? So you have this deviation down here, and you have this up here. Like, I mean, if you're realistic, what's your target? And it would be down here. Now, obviously, you haven't closed, all that kind of stuff. But it's enough for me, right? Like, I don't want to give back all of this. Like, I doubled my money. I'm not willing to stick with it for any longer. Do you trade on BitMEX or just use the chart? I just use the chart. I don't trade on BitMEX anymore. But yeah, I mean, I hope that makes sense. I'm just not too excited. I was excited, but then I realized that we're still in gambling territory. The old season cries showed me the way, basically. I was like, this is not the behavior that I want or that I'm seeing for like a massive rally where we just, like a disbelief rally, basically. It just doesn't seem likely. So the logical target would be the low of the range at 19K. Yes, but honestly, my view right now is basically that we're gonna do something. Why is this so scuffed? Well, whatever. We go here. Basically, my feeling is that we're in this period where we had this massive like rally back in 2019. That was this, and I think we're gonna basically do this thing, which I think could take us slowly but surely towards somewhere here, and then we're gonna go up. That's my going thesis. I think that's the most likely to happen. That said, I don't have any horse in the race. I'm not short. I don't have any large crypto exposure anymore. I'm not even trading right now, and I don't feel like trading anymore either. So this is all just useless talk because, I mean, I'm not positioned the way that my analysis is going. So that's kind of like, I still think, and to kind of reiterate, I still think this is the bottom. And I still think we're going to make it to 60K. But given how the market's been playing and the greeds that's still there and the idiots that are still trading, I'm I think it's gonna just take longer. Will you rebuy at 20K? Yes. If it goes to 20K, I will rebuy. Make it to 60K by when? Like in the next 4 years, 3-4 years. Doesn't sound too unrealistic to me. Do you hold a long-term stack, Duck? No. I've been trading this, and I'm not really one. Like the problem with the long-term stack is that I like at some point I just get so disgusted by the space that I'm always gonna sell it. And I was disgusted as fuck last week. Like the shit that was around, like the moment the market upticks and the moment you see altcoins move, you have friends scamming each other, you have people shilling the absolute biggest dog shit on the planet, you have opportunistic assholes just like doing scummy shit left and right, and then I'm just like, long term, fuck no, I'm gonna get out of the space, and then price dumps and the opposite, like all the haters of the space come out and they're like, this is just a scam all along, and I'm like, I mean, it's not actually, it's just the people suck, but the people are gone right now. Like the moment the scum comes out, I usually want to sell, and I want to sell everything. And the moment like the people that don't understand what this is all about, like open their mouths and kind of start banging their chests, that's where I want to get back in. So for me, it's really hard to hold long-term stuff, because whenever the market goes up too much, there's a good chance that I'm just going to be so disgusted that I'm going to sell. What would change your mind not to rebuy at 20K? I don't think there's going to be anything that's going to change my mind there. Don, thanks for being back. Appreciate it so much. Even if you show up for just a few minutes, you're my favorite and it's not even close. Well, I appreciate it, mate. I appreciate it. But yeah, that's that. So your rebuy area is 23 or 32K, is that right? Like roughly, yes. I think the market, like, I think there's going to be a better buy, like a buy into strength above 30K. And the good thing is like that I got pretty close to 31K when selling. I didn't get the top, but I was pretty close. So I think if we go back in that area and then show a little bit of strength, I'll get an entry anyway. And even if I don't, I think if we go back up and pump, I think the market is going to go completely crazy and overheat, and then we're going to get a pullback of some sort. Usually the bull market pullbacks are like 40%. So like something like this, or even it goes to 50 and then drops to 30K would make sense to me. So I think there's going to be an entry either way. I think there's going to be, and this is the thing, I think there's going to be an entry at 30K, even if this goes up now. It's just, it might be a little bit of pain in between. So for me, it doesn't make much sense to be in here. Like I really don't want to own crypto right now. Would you ever open a group up in Discord? Nah, I don't want to give people advice more than just like talking about my thoughts. I've had a group before, like a free Discord group, but people just turned into assholes in there. So I was just like, fuck no, it's enough. Why not 25K? I think in general, like, and this is the thing. Anything in here is probably a decent buy, at least for a wick. But yeah. And then with regards, like in regards to altcoins, ETH actually looks decent, and this has me worried because this is one of the main reasons why I was like getting out. Bitcoin was showing weakness, ETH was showing strength, which basically just means given the market right now, right? That just means that money is moving from Bitcoin to ETH, and we need the Bitcoin bid. So the moment people start selling their Bitcoin for ETH, Bitcoin bid is going to evaporate, and then people are going to risk off. So like I saw the ETH move and I was like, this is actually like, you want to have ETH strength while Bitcoin is strong. But what we had instead was ETH strength while Bitcoin was weak, which just means people are selling ETH to buy Bitcoin, which is not good, especially not a Bitcoin resistance, because that basically just means people are moving out of the risk curve, trying to get something where they can make more money. But ETH BTC actually doesn't look bad, but it looks good while Bitcoin looks completely horrendous, which has me even more defensive, because I think ETH could outperform while Bitcoin is dropping in this case, or this is just going to snap back because people risk off while Bitcoin is dropping. So either way, not the biggest fan of this situation, but ETH actually looks good. And I think ETH, I mean, I sold my ETH at 2K, just above 2K. It's now trading at 1900, but it's not really a bad shot. It looks much, much better than Bitcoin. I don't like these immediate retests, but it's not as bad on altcoins as it is on Bitcoin. So technically I'd support, same as Bitcoin, but if that goes, I think like anything in this area would be a good buy. So like anything between 1.1 and 1.5K. But that could just be my bias speaking, because I actually, like, I don't have a strong view on ETH. I just know like that the ETH BTC chart doesn't look that bad. What happened with the thesis of rotating into ETH? What invalidated your plan? The reason why I didn't rotate into ETH was because Bitcoin looked so horrendous that I was like, I mean, I could rotate into ETH, or I could just rotate into USD, and I'm going to make more money by rotating into USD. Because, I mean, yeah, ETH looks good against Bitcoin, but Bitcoin looks horrendous against USD, and ETH's not going to outperform it if that continues to be the case. Would you buy Litecoin again? It's pretty close to the halving, so I don't know, is the answer. This situation would have to fix itself pretty quickly. So right now I don't have a plan to, but that could change quickly. So if I see something that I want to see, I'm down to kind of entertain the thought, but I don't have a plan right now. Guys, don't forget to hit the like button. Appreciate you saying that. But yeah, that's that. I mean, there's not really that much else. Like, all the altcoins took a big shit, but they're still up from last week, mostly, like the strong ones anyway. But like I said, I don't necessarily want to see too much altcoin strength now anyway, because if we see altcoin strength while Bitcoin is dropping, that's just gets worrying. But yeah, I don't have a strong view on the altcoins. I just think like if Bitcoin keeps on dumping, that's going to be bad for altcoins. And what we've been seeing on the low time frame, right, is on Bitcoin anyway, is this behavior where you just take out the lows over and over and over and over again. Like, you take out the low, you bounce a little bit, you take out the low, you bounce a little bit, you take out the low, you bounce a little bit. That's as bearish as it gets. Like, that's horrendous, at least in my view. Obviously, you could just print a candle like this and invalidate all of it. But like, this is stuff that I don't get involved in. And I can say that because if you guys remember back when we were trading here, I was making the same argument. Like these wicks to the upside, and that people kept on fading, it's actually not something bearish, it's bullish, right? And we got a little bit of pullback, but then we went up massively. And I think this is pretty much the same thing. Like, you could easily, like with these wicks, you could easily get like a squeeze candle where it goes up, but then in the end, it looks like it wants to drop to me anyway. But that's me being bearish on the low time frames at daily support. So who the fuck knows? I just know that for me, it makes sense. Like, if you want to be bearish, even on the low time frames, just if you want to be bullish, even on the low time frames, just be high up. Like, up there, it looks so much better than down here. And it's just a little bit of a move. Well, it looks like a good time to take a break now. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Don't like at least a trading break. Right now I'm like busy on the computer. Still have a lot of things to do on the computer, so I'm gonna be shit posting on Twitter. But don't take it too seriously because at the end of the day, I'm not in any trades. And yeah. Ran a small Legion account from 500 to 30k. Your bearishness convinced me to sell. Now I have a down payment on a house. Thank you. Chad, love to hear it. I actually I did something similar on Bybit, but I'm now getting like tax advice for it because I mean like we don't really know how to get it taxed because Germany is a little bit stupid, but it's went well, equally well as yours. So happy to hear it. But yeah, sometimes like some circumstances in the market, right? Like sometimes some certain periods you can actually just go full retard, and it's actually a valid trading strategy. But yeah, it's very rare, and I don't think that's necessarily like right now. It's not the time anymore. I think right now the time is to just chill, observe. This can change quickly, right? So for example, like if we hold the daily and then start marching up slowly, like that starts looking really, really good, right? So if we do the same thing that we did here off of the support and we manage to get back above like 30k-ish, then it starts looking really, really good. But right now, I just don't see it. You said 60k in 3 to 4 years. You don't see it going past that. I mean, if you're lucky, you get like 90k, 100k. I don't see it past 90 or 100k in the next 10. But that's just me, and I'm inherently like more bearish than most people, I think. So it's kind of funny. Like people are calling me a bull tart during this entire rally. It was just like I'm usually bearish and sell too early, but it was just pretty obvious to me that we're gonna go up. Sorry, I didn't understand the previous segment. How were you able to tell it's bad now? Take out the lows and keep going down. Do you talk about the SFPs? Like this stuff. It's basically like people are trying to long every time we take out the lows, and it's the same that we did on the upside where people kept on trying to way too far down, where people kept trying to short when we're gonna go up. So like we're doing the same thing that we did on the upside to the downside. Doesn't have to play out the same way, but it's something to keep in mind. Did you sell everything? I mean, yeah, I've been pretty clear about that. I did sell, like I sold my Bitcoin at 30.2, I think, ish. And like around that, like some above, some below. And sold my ETH above 2000, sold my Litecoin at 97 or something, 98. Some above, some below. Sold XRP, sold everything, yes. But I'm just gonna chill basically. Like I don't have strong views besides that this is not what I wanted to see, and especially the altcoin shit that I saw was not what I wanted to see. But I can change my mind real quickly on this as like if we show some strength. But right now I'm just not seeing it. You sell your long-term bag? I don't have a long-term bag. I just trade. Oh, you mean my trade on Bitcoin, the 16 to 100k trade, because I closed that. Just go on my Twitter and check it. Anyway, that's that. Litecoin, Oh, I actually accidentally removed all my lines. Litecoin basically had like a false breakout to the upside again into 100k. It's unfortunate. It's at the bottom of this old range, but given we have a range fake out, it would make sense to go below the range too. So if you're looking for a Litecoin entry and you think the market is not going to disappear, I mean, in here seems pretty decent. Like below the range, just the same as we did above the range. What would you do if you were underwater right now? I mean, I would look at where I'm invalidated, as in like, if you are underwater, you should have made a plan before you got underwater in the first place of what you would do if you get underwater. That's kind of the most important thing. And if you didn't do that, you're in a shit position and cannot really help you. You always have to have an exit plan every time you get in a trade. But yeah, that's that. I think it's pretty straightforward, really. Just to reiterate my points without bias at all. Above this zone of indecision, I think it's up only for a while, right? So we get like something like this, and then we come back, and then I think we're just gonna go. In this, anything can happen. Like just can go up, can go down, whatever. Below this, I'm expecting down. And given I sold, it should be pretty clear what my own opinion is, which is I think we're gonna go down in the short to mid term. Not long term, but short to mid term. In general, like I said, I think the bottom's in, and if you get to buy anywhere in here, I think that's a good buy. Doesn't have to happen, obviously. Depends a little bit on the S&P and all the traditional markets, but in general, crypto's been getting hot again, and but not hot with new entrants, which would be a good hot, but with risk taking, which is a bad hot. So there you go. That's my view. Hope that helps. I'll be back next week probably. We'll see if I feel like it. Lately it's been like I said, I've been a little bit annoyed with people, not here but in general. So like sitting down and talking about the market, and just kind of like, fuck it, tweeting should be enough, but I'll get my mojo back. So yeah, love you guys. Have a nice day, evening, morning, whatever. Stay safe. Don't get like, I think this is not the time to like take risks both ways. Like if you're starting to short here into daily support, there's a good chance you get fucked. Could do something like this, could easily take out the highs on the day, all that kind of stuff, even if it's bearish. So don't be stupid on both sides. Like I said, I just sold, which makes it easy, because then I cannot be stupid. Makes doing dumb shit much harder if you're not having in a position. So yeah, love you guys. Have a nice rest of your day. Bye bye.